That moment of stillness when you wake up in the morning, if you contemplate it, how do you contemplate it for the rest of the day?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I know, I agree with you, there is a stillness before everything appears. And when I wake up, I try to see it. You know?
Yeah, the morning time, the transition from the sleep state to the waking state, as well as the transition from the waking state to the sleep state, are like the dream state. They're really great opportunities and great gifts from consciousness. And there is a very important contemplation because at that time, the waking state, from the sleep to the waking, consciousness still is scintillating without much structure. So the contemplation is sort of take your time in this, take your time in this transition. Just slow it down. And the thought of getting up and having a cup of coffee or going to your errands might arise, but take your time in staying, not moving too quickly with that thought. And it's your interest. It is your interest in this, in contemplation, in this transition time, that is crucial. You have to be interested, right? Because it is your interest that will keep you on focus. And so before the structures download, before the structures form, before the body arises, it doesn't arise suddenly like that. It arises in phases, in steps. And it might be initially, maybe you might sense the sheets. It's a sensation, or body heat, warmth, or a thought of, it's a fleeting thought of the rise of, the coffee or whatever, There is a space between these structures. And the space is the space of consciousness. It's a space-like consciousness, is space-like awareness, is space-like. And this space-like quality of consciousness requires simply you becoming familiar with it. You befriending it in a way, to befriend it, to first recognize it, and then to enjoy it. It's like a friend, you recognize your friend from college or high school, and you enjoy them. You invite them over. You prepare dinner for them. You make a plan to go to the movies with them. So you think about them, and you think lovingly about them, and you think about how you can celebrate with them. But all of it is happy. It's not, oh my God, I really must, get a party together for my friend for, invite him for dinner because, I'm really unhappy. And no, it's not like that. It's all a celebration. So in a way, you need to turn your attention to the space-like quality, to which, and out of which, the first thought arises, or the first bodily impressions arise. You slow it down. So wait a minute, wait, not so fast, not so fast. I want to be with you. I want to savor you. It's okay. You didn't show up much today. No problem. I'm here every morning. I'm here. I'm interested. I love you. I'm inviting you every morning. I'm here for you every morning. Yeah. So in every morning. So in a way, these are like opportunities, and same thing with the nights when you go to bed. So you shut off the TV, okay? You lie down and you watch the dissolution. Thoughts becoming quieter. So you're observing the thoughts, and you're observing their landing. You're observing the gaps between them. They're becoming one before where they start becoming and then bzz, bzz, yeah. They start to dissolve in the body. You have to notice. You see, where are my shoulders? Sit down, where's my belly? You start to notice that it's dissolving. Yeah, so and of course the world is dissolving because you close your eyes. There might be images, but images are thoughts. So you notice that. You notice that they're dissolving. And your interest is in what they're dissolving into. But your question was about, also was about, well, how do I continue that during the day? Well, once you befriend consciousness, you realize that it's like you befriended a friend from college or from high school, and in time you realize that they're your roommate. They're like attached to you more than your roommate. They go everywhere you go. They're never not with you. Sometimes they might be in the living room while you are in the kitchen, it seems like, because you're busy doing something. But then as soon as you turn your attention to the kitchen, there they are. So first you become familiar with consciousness, space-like quality of consciousness during the waking state. And then, after all, what is the waking state? What is the transition from the sleep state to the waking state but a download of the body, of the world, my car, the store, etc., and of the mind, thoughts. You see? So the world, the body, and the mind download out of consciousness as consciousness into consciousness. Yes. So there isn't an actual line between 7 a.m. when you wake up and 2 p.m. It's still right here, right now, that sleep state. The sleep state is right here, right now. right now, the deep sleep state, the pre-download, that space-like quality of, we refer to as consciousness, before the download of the world, body, mind, is still there. It's here right now, with the world as this perception, the body.
It's just more difficult to notice it because the downloaded has happened. So
Yeah, but
I mean, it's
where did it download? And out of what did it download? And what did it download as? It's downloaded out of consciousness, into consciousness, and as consciousness. Because the thought is only appearing to consciousness. Because it's not appearing to the tree. It's not appearing to another thought. It's not appearing to a bodily sensation. It's appearing to consciousness, what we refer to as I. And it's appearing to consciousness, and it's at zero distance from consciousness. Because right now, this perception that you're perceiving, where is it?
right here.
Where? Where is right here? Where is this perception that you're perceiving right now? Where do you need to go?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
It's right there.
It's intimately yourself. Intimately yourself, meaning this perception is intimately consciousness. But when you choose to believe that there is an object out there, then hey, I'm too busy with the world. Magdi, please tell me about consciousness. How do I find consciousness? I'm too busy with the world. I'm busy with the world, with an external world. But let's take the external world right now, as you choose, as a thought, or as this perception, as this external body. Where is this external body? Where is this chair right now? You can answer that, because you're the one who knows the chair, right? You know this chair, yes? Where is it?
It's in the space that I perceive.
In the space that you perceive. Do you perceive the space?
Yeah.
You perceive the space. Describe to me the space.
The space has things in it.
I understand. But describe the space.
I can't really describe the space. I can describe what I see.
Yes. Yes. So when we say this oak tree is appearing in the space, we can describe the oak tree, but we cannot describe the space. But yet we say the space. What is this space? What is this space?
The space is consciousness then.
It's the space of consciousness. What we refer to as consciousness is space-like.
Yeah.
It has no viscosity, no density, no. The term space, the concept space, is only a concept that refers to the space-like quality of consciousness, meaning the borderless quality of consciousness. Yes?
So when you ask me where is the chair, and I said the chair is in the space.
So you're saying it's in consciousness.
It's a chair that I see in the space.
Okay, so there is the chair that you see that's in the space.
Yeah.
And the space is a space of consciousness, yes? And the you that sees it, what is this you that sees it?
It's consciousness.
So the space is consciousness, and you is consciousness. So you are the space. So what's perceiving this perception is consciousness. Yes. But it's really important that you to live it.
Words are too easy. They are not really expressing what
This,
the space is.
when we refer to I, to me, so we're actually referring to I. When we refer to me, we are actually referring to I, not the body. Me as a habit refers to in limited form. A female or male physical form. But what we really mean by me is I. I perceive. We don't mean the body perceives. The body is an instrument. The true perceiver is not the body, is I. It's the astronomer that's using the binocular. The binoculars do not perceive. The body is an instrument. When we say I perceive, we're referring to the perceiver, not to the body. Not to the body. The perceiver. So the perceiver right now is not the body, it's I as consciousness. And consciousness is space-like. Space-like. So we see, sometimes we refer to space-like quality of consciousness. But there is nothing that defines consciousness. It's just expedient means to sort of tenderize the meat, you know? To just soften the belief structures. So consciousness is sort of space-like. And the objects, what seems to be an object, it only refers to consciousness. Because it refers to our knowingness. What is an object that is not known via thought, via perception, or via the senses? Right? What would an object be? An object always refers to the knowingness, whichever means you're knowing. It refers to the knowingness, meaning the consciousness. Consciousness is knowingness. So we did say a minute ago that consciousness is space-like.
When you say consciousness is
The space-like quality of consciousness. But also, consciousness is knowing, meaning there is awareness. We're aware, we know the oak tree. We know this perception. I know this perception. So consciousness is also knowing. Effortlessly. It's an effort, it's inherently knowing. Yes? You follow?
Yeah, but I'm trying to put together, if consciousness is space, space is knowing.
Yes, it's a knowing space. Yes, beautiful. It's an aware space. Yes.
Aware space.
So consciousness is aware space-like. Yes?
Space, I think, is the best definition of consciousness. For me, it talks to me.
Okay. But it's also aware. Because space could be inert. In science, they study space. You know, the physicists, they're studying space and matter and so on. But they consider it as an inert object. They consider it as something. There is a nothing thing, sort of. You see, like the concept zero. They don't realize that zero, the concept zero, is the whole universe. They consider zero to be sort of between 1 and -1. Because it's important to understand that it's a knowing space. And again, we're in language, because what I'm talking about is beyond the mind. I'm just using the mind to allegorically to invite the contemplation. So it's not just space-like, but it's also knowing. And it's also presence. It's also presence. That's very important. It's also presence. Why is it important? Because it brings it home. That I am this presence. We all know that I am. So we're not just having some nice conversation about space-like consciousness. Oh, how nice. Oh, you beautiful. Had a nice conversation. No. We're talking about the reality of my knowingness. It's I am. We're talking about I am this knowing, aware space. And what we refer to as the external world is just made out of my knowingness. There is no actual reality that is beyond my knowingness. It's outside of my knowingness.
It's not abstract.
Because if there is an external reality that requires my knowingness, that is known via my knowingness, then my knowingness envelops this reality, this external reality. There is the reality of the external world and the reality of consciousness cannot be separate. Because if they were separate realities, consciousness would never know the physical world. You follow? If there are two separate realities, there are just separate realities. There is a world somewhere out there, and there is consciousness somewhere over here. And they don't know each other. But the fact is, we all know that we know the external world. Right? We know the mountains, we know the rivers, we know the streams, we know the galaxies, we know the stars, we know the chairs. So therefore, these two so-called separate realities cannot be separate. They are one reality. The reality of consciousness is, well, you can call it anything. You could call it, there is one reality, and it's called the physical reality. It doesn't matter what you call it. It does not matter what you call it, as long as you realize that there's one reality. And this reality refers to presence, meaning I am, knowing, aware, borderless presence. So, given that there is one reality, it makes no sense to talk about a mission that this reality has. Because if reality, this one reality, has a mission, then there has to be something that this one reality needs to accomplish. There has to be some other secondary reality or secondary form, object, task out there that's separate from it, that it needs to go to. Hopefully it gets to it before it's too late.
Well, that's what movies are about.
That's
what every movie is about.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's really difficult to find a movie that's not deeply into ignorance. So, but you could enjoy adventures, and you could enjoy pink flying elephant movies,